Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We got Charles Hoskinson headed to Capitol Hill, crypto CEO of the year, and the dominoes begin to fall. We're going to get into it. Jay Powell, we got SWIFT, we got FEDNOW, ISO, Euronet. It's all going live. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen, and everything we're talking about here today. Give us a follow on Facebook at Digital Perspectives News, no spaces, or Digital Perspectives, no spaces on TikTok for exclusive content. $920 billion market for cryptocurrency right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're off by 4% in the last 24 hours. That is the numbers right here on this date at the time I'm reading this chart to you. 19,900 for Bitcoin. Ethereum is a little over 1,000. We see XRP at 32 cents right now, climbing at the number 7 spot. Take a look at the range of price from 32 to 33 cents, almost 34 cents. We'll keep an eye on it. Ladies and gentlemen, there's another great special happening right now, and it's at link2.com. You can click this link right here to get that special, or the one underneath the video. And if you are already a Link2 member, click it anyway to make sure you also get the special at hand. He says here, Nick Burafedo from Link2, we have lowered the minimum investment of the two hottest on our platform, that is Link2 itself and Ripple, to just $5,000 for accredited investors. If you invest in both, we'll send $1,000 worth of XRP drop to your Uphold wallet. The offer good until 11:59 PDT time tomorrow at 6/23/2022. Check that out. Click that link. I'm telling you, these specials are amazing, and those products do not last long. Charles Hoskinson from Cardano is on his way to Washington to testify for digital assets in the space alike. I love seeing this because we know Charles is one of the good guys in this space. Go get him, Charles. Take a look at this. This is for fun, but look at the landslide that this is right here. Considering that Coinbase and BlockFi are laying off 20% of employees during bear market, but Jesse Powell from Kraken, CZ Binance, and Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple are all hiring, along with FTX, saving companies. Who is up for Crypto CEO of the Year? And at this point, by a landslide, it's Brad Garlinghouse. Not surprising at all, but there's some good contenders in there. And the dominoes are beginning to fall, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at this from Sky News. The the global collapse starts in the small places, and then you see a ripple effect, a cascading effect usually take place. And if you're not careful, it can become systemic like the last liquidity crisis we had. Take a listen.
On Sky News, there has been some significant unrest, and including burning down buildings. He's now telling us that the economy has collapsed, with the country unable to pay for oil imports. What's going to happen as a result of that? Beautiful island, of course, Sri Lanka, very rich and varied, but big economic problems at the moment, and the economy, we're told, has collapsed, with the country unable to pay for oil imports. Get more on that.
And that is a problem, and we have to keep a very close eye to see if this becomes systemic and cascading. If it does, listen, we know that the Lehman Brothers moment over in China is Evergrande. Keep an eye on that. We've heard that there are ties from Evergrande to USD Tether. Keep a bigger eye and closer eye on that. This is Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell live today, courtesy of Cowboy.crypto right there, discussing financial markets and illiquidity issues. Tell me that this doesn't sound like a knee bone connected to the leg bone cascading effects right here.
Channels I would point to.
Let me ask about in terms of asset prices and how financial markets are responding to the Fed's stance. I've consistently asked you and Secretary Yellen, when you appear before the committee, to talk about systemic risks, risk to financial stability, risk of financial contagion. Where you're moving swiftly and markets are volatile, there are perhaps institutional trades that could rapidly unwind or exotic financial instruments that no longer function well. What do you anticipate to be the parts of capital markets now, or the phenomena in capital markets that present the greatest risk to financial stability as the Fed takes the aggressive action that you're taking?
Well, I'd start by saying that the banking system is very strong, well capitalized, highly liquid, does a much better job of understanding the risks it runs and managing them than before the global financial crisis. And that's a reflection of the work that regulators did and that the banks did too. So that part of the financial system is critically very strong, and we saw that through the pandemic, and we see it now. To your point, though, capital markets did show real periods of illiquidity during the immediate aftermath of the pandemic, and we've been looking at ways. I say broadly, the regulatory community has been looking at ways to address that.
So you remain concerned about money markets?
Well, that's a different. So money markets that's a part of the economy which where it has become illiquid because the assets that they were invested in were not able to be turned into cash quickly to fund depositors wanting to take their money back. So we stepped in and had to provide that liquidity for the second time. There are reforms going on there at the SEC which should address that, and they're in the process of being considered and then implemented. So that should help on that front. I was thinking more of the Treasury market, for example, which it became illiquid when at the very beginning when people wanted nothing but cash, nothing but the cash and most cash-like things. Treasury market has been functioning though all through this period when we've.
And just how exactly is that? How casually he talks about how the Treasury was illiquid in the earlier part of this year with the pandemic, and now we're Treasury markets functioning fine. Everything's fine. Everything is not fine. And you know who else knows it? It's Judy Shelton right here. Shout out to Mr. Intuitive. I think he brought this person out of the shadows. Powell notes that the Fed has given Treasury more than $1 trillion through remittances. So perhaps he thinks Treasury should be happy to cover Fed operating losses. Will citizens agree that their taxes should help induce banks and money market funds to keep money idle at the Fed? What a great question. And the answer is we do disagree, Mr. Intuitive says. You damn right we do. Now, changing gears. But are we changing gears? Because I don't believe that these events are mutually exclusive. If you look at the idea of the trouble that we're in economically, monetarily, that's what we just got a picture of. And look where we're going to. I do not find these to be two separate events. I think they're all actually coordinated to help us transition into this new financial system and to try to bring back into the circulation of money, the velocity of money. With 5 months until the go live of ISO20022 for payments, Nasir Ahmed from SWIFT's head of the UK and Ireland spoke to the payers, and it says here about what benefits the new standard is set to bring and key milestones coming up. And we know most of them. But here I want to give you this to back it up. And then we move from SWIFT and their go live date 5 months from now. Pilot will end for FEDNOW when performance-based criteria are achieved, says the Federal Reserve, which adds it remains confident that FEDNOW will launch in 2023. So we're looking at 2023 for the ISO SWIFT and this with the FEDNOW. This, if you're not so sure, what is ISO 20022 and what role does it play? The ISO 20022 standard is an internationally accepted messaging format that enables rich data exchanges, efficient end-to-end straight-through payments processing, and interoperability with other payment systems. That's what we're talking about, the ability to communicate with any different customer or client and whatever system they're using if we're all on that language. This is Paul Ruskin, director of Trace Financial, talking about that migration. Let me get this keyed up for you so you can hear this here.
Now, ISO20022 migration with the swift coexistence period for ISO20022 beginning in November.
Yes.
There's more confirmation.
What can financial institutions who are not ready to send and receive MX messages do?
I think the first thing is not to panic. It's only 6 months away. Come tomorrow, it will be 6 months away. So the idea is not to panic. You have everything you need at the moment. It is just making it better. You will be able to go live. Swift will help you. They'll give you the Swift MT, they'll give you the MX. But you're missing out on a lot of data richness. You're missing out on a lot of great solutions to enable you to take that data and do better things within your payment systems. We are obviously here to help you, as well as many other vendors. But my key role here is to tell people, don't just take this on the back seat. Take it on the front foot and make sure you're not just ready for November, but for that 5-year coexistence and beyond, because that's the key.
Don't make sure that you're just ready for November. Make sure you're ready for that 5-year period and beyond. So it sounds like they're going to go live, and then there's going to be a parallel running to the old system for maybe a period of 5 years is what I'm taking out of that statement. We're going to want to know more about that. Remember, Victoria Cleland, executive director at Bank of England, said something very similar about a big bang cutover, and how the new system would run parallel to the old system for a period of 6 months, she had mentioned. In case something went wrong, they could revert back to the old system. It's very interesting what's going on here, so we want to know more about that. Now, that whole interview is good, but for the sake of time, I need to keep moving here. Euronet Worldwide Incorporated and its REN payments platform featured in the Federal Reserve's new FedNow service provider showcase. Look, the world is connecting here. Okay, FedNow is a domestic system, yes, but I tell you, what I am seeing is the domestic pools being filled with liquidity, which will be stable coins and CBDCs for bringing that liquidity to the digital realm, the digital value protocols that will be used, and then they can use that liquidity to make large international cross-border payments. That's what I'm seeing, ladies and gentlemen. And I look right here, and single day cutover is what we get here from the new message format for the FedWire funds service. It says right here, the board is proposing that the Federal Reserve banks would adopt the ISO20022 message format on a single day rather than in 3 separate phases as previously proposed. The single day migration would be targeted for and would be no earlier than November 2023, adopting the ISO20022. So that has us within a year of this coming November. So we got the SWIFT, we've got FedNow going live in 2023, and then they're talking about FedWire funds by no earlier than November 2023. So this is all go live dates we need to pay very close attention to. And if you don't know right here, Stellar, which I believe is another huge player with XLM in this big financial world that we're moving to, this new system, Neum Global and SDF announced a new partnership to enable cash payouts for businesses in 190 countries. Did you catch that one? Companies can leverage this integration to accelerate the receipt of funds, reduce settlement risk, and remove pre-funding requirements. Remember, they're partnered with Ripple and XRP as well. This here from John Deaton shares this here from Crypto Eddie, and it is Mr. Katow of SBI, Ripple partner, gave an investor presentation today in Nagoya, and it says on page 164 of 187 pages, it stated, XRP on-demand liquidity will be examined for utilization in the SBI Motor Africa business model when Ripple's U.S. trial has ended in desired results. Now, the question is, Has the U.S. trial begun already for Ripple and what they're doing? That I don't have the answer to. But there is real promising stuff inside of all of that. Things are moving actually quite rapidly when I look at the fundamental news and not price itself, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I see. And I'm not trying to sell a used car here. I've stated for over a year that many at Ripple, John Deaton says, and XRP supporters underestimate the negative impact the SEC has had, because Ripple has done well outside the U.S. and is hiring, etc. People say otherwise, but XRP must be deemed a non-security in the U.S. to fulfill its promise. This gets even closer because we have some information. We may get some information, on some of the rulings we're looking for, including the Hinman speech, very soon. So keep a lookout for that. Let's take a look at this. Okay, here's the clip right here. Here we go. Check it out.
So I'm on Mojo Loop's YouTube channel, and I'm watching this video, and watch this next slide when it comes up.
That will potentially entail. But I'm now going to pass it over to...
Okay, it's called Payment Hub as Gateway Component. It's got Mojo Loop right here, but look at the bottom, and it's kind of blurry. But the way I read that, it says source... I think that says Exolab, developments in India with, I can't read that, but it says connected to a private XRP based system, similar design for stable coins and CBDCs. Boom. So I'm on Mojo Loop's YouTube channel, and I'm watching this video.
Now let's take a look at this. Central bank digital currencies poised to be the foundation of the new financial system, the BIS says. We just saw from Mojo Loop and DAI's clip that it cites XRP-based system, just like for stable coins and CBDCs out of India. As far as I'm concerned, the question is not, will it run on the XRP ledger? The question is when. That's where we're at this day. And how much will the price of it be once it does? Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Hit that like and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.